sort of sort the volume out of the sensation that's coming up through the TENS machine. It's like a tingly electrical sensation, and that will push its way through these gates and close the gate to the pain. So what you can do is you can have competing sensations, and we all do that without even thinking about it. If we've had an injury, if you hammer your finger by mistake, you'll probably put it under cold water, or you'll rub it, or you'll suck it. It doesn't make any difference to the damage, but it does give a different sensation which tends to block the pain sensation or the awareness of the pain.
The pain gate can also be closed by other sensations. In much the same way as the feeling of euphoria closed the pain gate, other physical sensations, such as those caused by rubbing a wound or by a TENS machine, can also close the pain gate. Thoughts and feelings can have the effect of either closing the pain gate, helpful thoughts and feelings, or of holding the gate open for pain messages to pass through, unhelpful thoughts and feelings. When we dwell on the sensation of pain, or monitor our pain, it has the effect of holding the gate open to pain.
If you've got pain, it's like an ongoing internal stress. What happens when you're stressed?
Heart rate goes up.
Yeah? Heart rate goes up.
Muscles tense up.
Muscles tense up.
Disrupts clarity of thought.
Yeah? All of that and more is the stress response or the fight or flight response. And animals have it, we have it. So that if you go home from this talk this evening and you get to your front door and it's slightly open and you can see there's a load of rubbish on the floor just inside the front door and you realise you've been burgled, you're going to tense up, you're going to breathe faster, your heart's going to pump the blood around your body faster to get you ready either to run away from the burglars, because they might still be there, or to fight them if you're really brave. Okay, so pain itself is like an internal stress. Because we think of it as a warning, so you're trying to fight or run away from that pain, but you can't actually do it. So it just builds up and builds up. And as we said, one of the signs of that, or one of the effects of it, is muscle tension. And then if your muscles are held tight over a period of time, what's going to happen?
It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt, so it's going to add to the pain. If it goes on, you know, if you're now in this kind of loop, if that continues, what next?
Get tired.
Going to get tired?
It's getting worse.
It'll get worse. Your muscles will get worse and worse and worse until you get muscle spasm or cramp. And when you get that, then you get a lot of pain. So you get a flare-up of pain. Another thing that's going to happen if you hold your muscles tight all the time, you have stiffness or immobility, so you become less able to exercise and move around and so on. So the answer to all that is to get in on this vicious circle and stop muscles getting and staying tight. So you get in with relaxation. Have any of you ever experienced a headache? What about if there isn't a physical cause that you can identify? Have you ever identified another kind of cause?
Stress.
Right, okay. So this would be external stresses. So what happens then is you're stressed because you're going on holiday and you've got to cancel the newspapers and put the dog in the kennels and let the neighbours know and pack and find your passport and all that sort of thing, and it's just too much, you haven't got time to do it. And so you get stressed, and when you get stressed, this external stress then becomes like an internal stress. You get into the fight or flight response, you get all tensed up, but there's not a lot you can be doing. Well, perhaps if you're going on holiday, you can be rushing around a bit and discharging that tension to some extent, but maybe you're thinking about all this when you're sitting on a train or something. So there's not a lot you can do to discharge the tension. It just builds up and up. Your muscles get tenser and tenser, and then what normally happens is the muscles around your neck and then the muscles around your head start to go into spasm, and that's what gives you the headache. So It's really important if you've got a pain problem, because the same sort of thing will happen if you've got a pain problem and you have a lot of external stress. You're going to get tensed up, and that tension is then going to affect the bit of you that's painful and make that pain worse. So people with long-term pain, we all ought to learn how to control external stress and deal with it and have good problem-solving strategies and so on. But it's even more important for people with long-term pain because it will feed into the whole pain situation and make the pain worse.
When you have pain, the body responds to it as a threat. It is an internal stress. The body gets ready to fight or run away, the fight or flight response. But when the threat is long-term pain, there is nothing to fight or run away from. The body tenses up muscles ready for the fight or flight. However, in long-term pain, there is no fighting or fleeing to be done, and so the muscles remain tense, and this leads to more pain. In time, the tense muscles will lead to difficulty in moving, immobility, and to fatigue. And when muscles remain tense for a very long time, they can go into spasm or cramp, leading to a major flare-up of pain. This is the vicious cycle of pain and stress, and can also be set off by external stresses, everyday worries and problems, as these will also lead to the body entering into the stress response. There are strategies for dealing with all this. Learning to keep muscles relaxed will greatly lessen the chance of the vicious cycle starting. Exercising will prevent immobility. Exercising can also overcome the fear of movement, which itself can add to stress. Learning from practicing exercise that no harm results from movement will remove the stress that this fear creates. Finally, effective problem-solving techniques will prevent everyday worries and problems from leading into the vicious cycle of pain and stress. Now we move on to the strategies for coping with pain. Relaxation. Learning to keep physically relaxed throughout the day helps to prevent the build-up of muscle tension caused by the effect of pain, and also helps to produce endorphins. Exercise also helps to produce endorphins and helps to overcome the stiffness caused by immobility.
It also, if you've got long-term pain and you've been avoiding doing things because when you've done them you've felt the pain worse, and because you felt the pain's worse you've then thought that you're doing yourself damage. Actually getting back to doing things and discovering that they may make the pain worse for a short period of time but they don't do you any further damage, then gets over some of the other problems of the pain stopping you from doing things. And then if you're not stopped from doing things and you do start to do things, then you can fill your brain with more interesting things, and that will help to keep the pain gates closed.
The good news is that while we have the ability to hold the gate open to pain with unhelpful thoughts and feelings, we all also have the ability to close the pain gate. Thousands of years ago, when we were cavemen, we were constantly on the lookout for danger. These two cavemen spot a saber-toothed tiger and run away from it. But if they both ran into a rock and hurt their toe, only the caveman able to block out the sensation of pain in his foot would be able to jump up and keep running away. The caveman who stopped to rub his foot better would get eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. We are all descended from the surviving cavemen who blocked out the sensation of pain and got away from the tiger. So if our head is full of thoughts that are more important to us than the sensation of pain, then this will have the effect of closing the pain gate.
Associated with that is challenging the unhelpful thoughts, the thoughts that are going to happen automatically without your control, that say, don't do that because it'll make the pain worse. If it makes the pain worse, then it's going to damage my body. Or the thoughts that say, there must be something wrong, there must be a solution to this, I ought to go and find another doctor and they'll sort it out for me, or I ought to spend vast fortunes on some other kind of therapist who's going to sort it out for me. So challenging those thoughts, saying to yourself, is that thought really true? Is it accurate? Is that belief I'm holding an accurate belief? And even if it is accurate, is it a helpful one in this situation? And challenging those thoughts and finding more helpful thoughts to put in their place. Effective problem-solving strategies, as I said, so that you can deal with the external stress. If you can do that, then hopefully that will stop you getting into that vicious circle. And it'll also make you feel more in control of everything. And if you feel more in control of everything, then the pain, although it's still there, won't worry you quite so much. When people have pain, long-term pain, they can work out eventually how long it's safe to do things. Just ordinary things like how long is it safe to sit in this kind of chair, how long is it safe to stand, how long is it safe to walk. And by knowing their baselines, their limits for doing those things, they can then pace their activities so that they don't sit for too long, they don't walk for too long, they don't stand for too long. And then once they have worked out how to do that, they can plan. So if they want to go and post a letter, which perhaps they haven't been able to do for some time because the letterbox was too far away, they can plan how to do it. They can walk halfway to the letterbox, then sit on a wall for a couple of minutes, and then walk the rest of the way, and then do the same on the way back.
Some months after first sustaining his injury, our footballer tries to post a letter. By the time he is halfway to the letterbox, the pain in his foot has become unbearable. So he gives up and struggles home, feeling defeated by the experience. These negative thoughts and feelings only add to the problem, effectively holding the gate open to pain. But if our footballer was to plan how far he is able to walk before he needs to take a break, by sitting on a wall, for example, he could attempt the journey in 2 stages. Now he is able to complete the journey and post his letter, which has the opposite effect from failing, in that it gives him a positive sense of achievement.
People with long-term pain, it means they need to lead their lives in rather strange ways, or ways that seem strange to begin with, certainly. But they're faced with a choice. Either they try and do things the way they always used to do them, but then they fail and feel more miserable as a result, and then give up. Or they learn their pacing limits, their baselines, and they plan, they prioritise what they're going to do, and they get some of those interests back in their lives. And that will lead them then, hopefully, to having a more balanced lifestyle, because people with pain tend to prioritise the things they think they should do. So in pain management programs, we look a lot at what people think they should and ought to do, and how much of their time is occupied with those things, and then what are the things that actually give their lives meaning and give them some fun in their lives, and start to prioritise those things and to give themselves permission not to do some of the things that they think they ought or should do. And we often think that the people who come to the pain clinics are people who are very conscientious perfectionists. So they've tried to carry on keeping up very high standards at home, and they just can't do it because the pain won't let them. And because they're trying to do it, they're not doing anything else. So the pain really becomes everything in their lives. Whereas there must be other people who have similar degrees of pain, but have said, oh, well, I never enjoyed doing the hoovering anyway, and so they just don't do it. And then the pain doesn't have such an overwhelming effect on their lives.
So, to summarise the strategies for coping with pain, they are relaxation, learning to limit muscle tension throughout the day in order to avoid muscle cramp, which leads to flare-ups of pain, and to reduce tiredness and immobility, and helps produce endorphins, the body's natural painkillers. Exercise, to increase mobility, build up muscle strength, also help produce endorphins, and to overcome the fear of movement. Challenging unhelpful thoughts and replacing them with more effective coping thoughts. ones which help to close the pain gates and which will lead to positive emotions and actions, which will also help to close the pain gates. Effective problem-solving strategies to deal with everyday problems and worries in ways which avoid building up physical tension. Pacing, planning and prioritising activities to ensure that tasks are undertaken in ways that lead to success. And to ensure a balanced lifestyle which includes fun, a great endorphin producer. We hope you have enjoyed watching this DVD and that, like our little green man, you have gained a better understanding of pain, and in particular long-term pain.